Hello guys, I am back from another video. Today deku was a super soldier. So in the last video deku, after being told that they're gonna be having internships very soon, Izuku goes there as he was told that they're gonna be doing their hero name. Basically, they're gonna be naming themselves for their hero agency. So after Izuku picks his hero name by the name of Thanatos, the Greek god of peaceful death, Izuku goes and was told that they're gonna be internshipping or entered just working at the agency of Night Eye. Specifically just Izuku and a girl. Specifically, this girl was Nedry. So after making it there, Izuku saw Mirio for the first time as they shake hands. So, after Nanae arrives, Nanae said that they're just going to be doing some normal patrolling mission, just a patrolling mission for now. So, after a while, they were alerted by another agency that they're being attacked by both the Yakuza and the League of Villains. But apparently, they're fighting against each other. Specifically, just the League of Villains versus the Yakuza. So, after witnessing the battle, Izuku defeated some of the Nomus and the Yakuza members, but Izuku saw something interesting. Izuku saw a Nomu version of Shigaraki, filled with hate and rage, as he looks and sees Overhaul fighting him. Izuku sees the fight as it looks fierce, but Izuku heard another cry for help, and this help came from a boy. This boy was Ida Tenya, or Tenya Ida. So, after Izuku sees it, Izuku saw that another hero was there, being native, as they're being attacked by the hero killer Stain. After Izuku defeats him, Izuku saw the rest of the battle between Shigaraki, the Nomu version, and Overhaul. But unfortunately, the heroes arrived, but they unfortunately escaped. So, after the agency or the internship, Izuku goes to sleep on his dorm room bed. Or should I say floor, because Izuku was so tired at that internship that he fell to sleep on the floor. So, Eri had to sleep on the bed by herself. So, yeah, that's basically what happened. So, let's talk about what happens next. So, after Izuku wakes up, Izuku just says this. Ugh, why am I on the floor? God damn it. So, after Izuku gets up, Izuku realizes that he's pretty early. So, Izuku decides to jog. So, after putting on his gym clothes, specifically like a simple like tracksuit, Izuku starts running and jogging. So, after a while of jogging, Izuku realizes that Izuku sees another person, being Nedry, as Nedry says this. Oh god, I'm not really good at running or jogging. As Izuku just says this. Wait, Nedry. So, after going towards her, Nedry says this. Oh, Izuku, I didn't know that you're... As Izuku just says this. Nedry, why the heck are you here? As she says this. Oh, I'm just jogging. Yeah, I'm just jogging. As Izuku looks over and sees that she's not making any progress. As Izuku just says this. Are you sure about that? As she says this. Uh, no, fine. I'm not really good at, doing workouts or exercising. As Izuku just says this. Really? Huh. As she says this. What are you looking at me for? As Izuku just says this. Well, I thought that you'd be more like the athletic type because of your peppy step or something. As she says this. I mean, yeah, most people confuse me for that, but unfortunately I don't really know how to do it. As Izuku just says this. Hmm, fine then. Maybe I can help you. As she says this. Wait, really? As Izuku just says this. Yeah, come on, let's jog. So, after like a few hours of like jogging, Izuku tells her that he's going back to his dorm room so he can change and get ready for school. As she says this. Okay, I'll be going home. Uh, so tiring. Uh, uh, uh. So, after Izuku showers and puts on his uniform, Izuku starts leaving to go to class. So, after getting there, Izuku sees the rest of his classmates, including Bakugo, which he's being prideful as always. So, the teacher arrives being Aizawa as he explains that they're going to be having a very soon event, being the training camp. Everybody, after hearing that, they start getting excited, including Kaminari. Izuku thinks that he's probably thinking of pervy things at the training camp. So, after being told of this, everybody decides to go to the mall, except for Izuku, because Izuku decides to just train a little bit more. Then, after that, he would go to the mall. So, after a while of training, Izuku decides to go to the mall now, even though it's maybe like 6 o'clock already, like 6 at the afternoon, or 6 in the afternoon I meant. So after getting there, Izuku sees nobody, like nobody at the mall, except for the shop owners for some odd reason. So when he gets there, he just looks around and gets all the supplies, including some snacks, some clothes, and a tent. I meant a tent. So, after getting all of those things, Izuku goes to the cashier, as the cashier says this. Business has been slow ever since that whole villain attack at Shibuya. As Izuku just says this. Really? Huh. As he sees and like the cashier sees that Izuku is currently a student at UA, as he says this. So, you're a student at UA? As Izuku just says this. Oh yeah, I am. So, what's with you? As he says this. Well, I actually wanted to become a hero, but unfortunately my quirk is not really good at all. As Izuku just says this. Wait, really? Then what is your quirk? As he says this. Oh, just a simple metal manipulation quirk. But unfortunately, my quirk was too weak. Mostly because I'm only able to control iron and silver. As Izuku just says this. Really? As he says this. So, what is your arm and legs? As Izuku just says this. Oh, these are prosthetics. My arms and legs, they were cut off. Wait for a second. I had to cut them off. Apparently, there was something wrong with them. As he says this. So, you're an amputee with the ability to use what quirk? As Izuku just says this. It's called Asteria, or Asterios. My quirk allows me to basically, if anybody smells the gas that I produce, they basically go insane and go into a hysteric state. Then after that, they will die shortly after, but I made my gas, or at least the gas that I use from which is made out of the gas, made it less lethal, and just made them a little bit, well, angry and insane, but not to the point that they basically crush anything on sight. I also made the lethal dose of the poison not as poisonous, so it just knocks them out. As he says this. Really? So, that whole internship thing, so what type of hero name did you decide to pick? As Izuku looks over, as Izuku sees that this bag, or all of the stuff that he has, is already checked out, as Izuku just says this. Alright, I'll be leaving. As he says this. Kids these days. So, after Izuku leaves, Izuku sees his classmates, basically outside eating at a little ice cream shop, as one of his classmates, being Mina, spots him, as Mina says this. Wait, Izuku, what are you doing there? As Izuku just says this. Oh, just finished getting my camping supplies. As everybody sees that Izuku's pretty much sweating pa, or still sweating. As Ochako said this. Hey Izuku, why you're completely sweating? As Izuku just says this. Oh, I just got done training, so as some of the girls see that his shirt is pretty much still a bit wet, but not as wet to the point that it's basically like all see-through, but just enough that some of the girls can see as well. You know, as some of the girls started, well, nose bleeding, including, well, Nedry, as she feels something towards Izuku a little bit more for some reason. So, after Izuku decides to, well, talk with them, Bakugo said this. Anyway, nerd, do you have anything to, well, ask? Like, what did you even buy? As Izuku just says this. Just got the usual stuff, like clothes, food, and then there's a tent, then some sleeping bags. As Mina says this. So, just the usual stuff? I just gotten some, you know, some special stuff. As Izuku just says this. Let me guess. Alcohol. As she says this. How did you know that? As Izuku just says this. Because of your personality, I'm guessing that you're probably gonna bring in alcohol, so that's what I thought. As she says this. Oh, huh. As Izuku says this. How about you? As Izuku tells, wait for a sec. Nedry, as Nedry says this, oh, just a tent and some, you know, sleeping bags and some food. Nothing special. As Izuku just says this, I know you're lying. As everybody said this. Wait, what? As Izuku just says this, I know that you're lying. My eye over here, this one, the one that looks almost robotic on this one, that like the purple-ish eye, I guess. Izuku just says this. You're obviously lying. I can easily... Oh, sorry, wait for a sec. I can obviously tell that you're lying. As she says this. Uh, um... I know that you have something in your bag that's a bit unusual. I can easily tell with my special eye. As she says this. Okay, you're right. Um, like, it's something special, and it's a secret. As Ezekiel just says this. A secret, eh? Whatever. I'll be leaving. So, after he leaves, he goes back to his dorm room. As Ezekiel just goes and sees his little sister being, wait for a second, Eri. As Eri says this. Hey, hey, brother, where did you go? As Ezekiel just says this. Well, I'm just getting some stuff for the training camp. As she says this. A camp? Can I come? As Ezekiel just says this. Maybe if my teachers allow me to, but unfortunately I don't know. As she says this. Come on, just let me go. As Ezekiel just says this. No, I will tell the teachers first, okay? As one of the teachers arrives, being All Might. As All Might says this. So, how's your training, Izu? As Izuku says this. What is it, All Might? As All Might says this. Izuku, did you do any training? As Izuku just says this. Yeah, obviously. As he says this. Good. Now, how about your little sister? As says this. Izuku, who's that? As Izuku just says this. Meet the number one hero. His name is All Might, or whatever. As he says this. Nice to meet you, boy. I mean, girl. As she says this. Hello. As he says this. So, I heard your conversation, and yes, you're allowed to bring Nedry to the training camp. As Izuku just says this. Wait, really? As she says this. Wait, really? As he says this. All Might. Yes, You're allowed to bring your little sister, but just as long as she doesn't hinder your training as a hero. As Izuku just says this. Hmm, fine then. As Nedry kind of becomes a little bit more happier. So, after that day, it's almost time for the training camp to start. So, everybody packs all of their things as Izuku bring in some, well, wait for a second. Izuku bring in some clothes for Eri as Izuku packs them into the bus. So, after everything is packed, Izuku starts going into his seat. After going onto his seat, Izuku sees the rest of the students as one of his classmates, being Ochako, says this. Come on, let's go. So the bus driver, being Aizawa, steps on the pedals as he starts bringing everybody to the forest. The forest is packed dense, filled with several little shrines. Just imagine the shrines from like Spirited Away. By the way, Spirited Away is one of my favorite movies, right next to Howl's Moving Castle. No cap. It's one of my favorites. So, just imagine those like little statues or like little shrines just like in the movie. Just imagine all around like the roads of like where Izuku and company basically going through. So, everybody is seeing the shrines as Izuku explains what they are. Apparently, these things are filled with these creatures or spirits. As one of them, being Bakugo, said this. Spirits, I can easily beat them with just my explosions. As Izuku just says this. Keep doing that and the spirits might kill you, Bakugo. As Bakugo said this. Whatever, nerd. As another person by the name of Ida says this. Hey Izuku, what is that over there? As Izuku and sees, well, something. Whatever it is, it looks weird. It looks like four people with weird looking animal like ears. Izuku just says this. I don't know, but as Izuku blinks, as they disappear, as Ida says this. What the? Um, was that as Izuku just says this? There's no way. There's no such thing as like ghost or spirit, or spirits. It's probably like something in our field of vision or something. As Ida says this. Maybe as they stop at a little cliffside. Wait for a second. So, after stopping at this little cliffside, well, one of the teachers, being Aizawa, says this. Alright, Izuku and every one of your classmates start going over there. So, they were brought at the middle of the, at the, what do you call it, the cliffside. As Aizawa brings Eri with him, as several people appear at the end of the cliffside where the like edge is there basically. As everybody said this. One the as Izuku just says this. Wait, you're that as one of them puts their hand onto the ground as everybody starts falling down to their doom. As everybody is falling down, Izuku uses his thrusters over here, these things that look like verniers from like Gundam. Izuku starts grabbing everybody as Izuku's about to run out of juice. As Izuku stops, Izuku puts down everybody. As Izuku just says this. Oh god, I think I should stop doing that. God, if I use too much of my quirk, I'm probably gonna feel sick. As Ida says, thank you, Izuku. No, I'm forever indebted in you. As Izuku just says this, come on, let's just go. As they hear the sound of roaring, like a gigantic, whatever it is, it sounded like a monster. As everybody's afraid, as Izuku just says this, come on guys, let's just ignore that and just start going to the goddamn, wait for a second, to the goddamn training camp already. So, after moving around in the forest, they hear the sound again, the sound of roaring. As one of his classmates, being Momo, said this, maybe it's the creature or something. As one of them, being, wait for a sec, Nedry, said this, maybe it's true, maybe there is monsters here. As Izuku just says this, there's no such thing as monsters. It's probably just a bear or some sort of like animal. As they look in front of them, as they see a large, well, rock creature. It looks like a It looks like a dragon, basically. As everybody sees it, one of them, being Kaminari, says this, "Run!" As everybody starts running in different directions, Izuku was running with, well, Nedry and Ida. So, while running, Izuku sees a little clearing. This clearing seems to be a path. So, Izuku tells tells Nedry and Ida to start following him, as they think that is probably the path to the, wait for a second, path to the training camp. So, as the rest of the students just start randomly going into different directions, deeper into the forest. So, after a while of running through that path, they see a large clearing of buildings. As Izuku stops, as they realize that they're finally at the training camp. As Ida says this, "What was that?" As Izuku just says this, "I don't know and I don't really want to know. Maybe it's some sort of quirk creature or whatever." As Nedry says this, "I guess you're right, maybe." Oh god. As they see the four people again, as Izuku just says this, "Identify yourselves." As Izuku gets ready his lance, as Ida gets ready to fight, including Nedry, as it turns out, apparently, they're the four pussycats. As they introduce themselves, one of them said this, "So, you're the famous as Izuku just says this, "First of all, don't call me the Reaper, and second of all, what did you do? You literally just scared us." As one of them, being the tiger guy, I can't remember his name, I think it's just Tiger, I think, as the tiger guy just says this, "Oh, don't worry. I promise you, those creatures won't hurt a fly. But they will just scare you, but don't worry, you are trained quick users, or heroes in training." As Izuku just says this, "Wait, where's Nedry?" As he says this, "Oh, I'm here. Did you seriously forgotten?" As Izuku just says this, "No, no, 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 not you, Nedry. I meant, where's Eri?" As Izuku sees Eri playing with Aizawa. As Aizawa just says this, "Oh, there you are, Izuku." As Izuku just says this, "God damn it." As Ida says this, "Alright, let's just start training and let's just stop thinking about anything else." So, after a while of training, they basically start getting ready dinner. So, while they're getting ready for dinner, basically cooking it, Izuku realizes where's his other classmates. As Ida says this, "Don't worry, they're probably just," as they hear the sound of screaming, as they see the gigantic creature again, the rock monster, as is chasing, well, all of his classmates, all of the 1A students, like they're screaming like girls, including Bakugo, as the creature stops at the point where they see what do you call it, the training, basically. So when it sees the training camp, it basically disappears into the forest, never to be seen again. As Momo said this, "I knew it. Monsters are real." As as Ochako said this, "Yeah, I think we must have angered the spirit." As they realize that they're in the training camp. As Bakugo said this, "Okay, first of all, where the hell are we?" As Izuku just says this, "You're finally here." As Nejiri says this, "You're finally here, guys. So, because of your whole, well, being chased by that monster. Here, let's have dinner. As one of them, being Kaminari, said this. You're the first ones here? Are you serious? Why you didn't just help us? As Zuko just says this. Well, we were busy getting chased by that rock monster or rock dragon. So, yeah, as they say this. Fine. As one of them, being Ochako, said this. Come on, let's just eat. I mean, it is, well, tiring after, well, getting chased by that monster. So, yeah. So, after they finish eating, they basically go on to their, well, tents, or their specific tents, as apparently, you know what happens. Apparently, Nedry forgotten her tent. So, she was forced to sleep with Izuku. So, both Izuku and Nedry are forced to sleep together. So, yeah, that's going to be a good night for Izuku to sleep with. So, yeah. So, I hope you liked the video. Comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.